are a form of social commentary and not in any way. Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you. I've done what I feel right. It just feels like
the world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is democracy manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? Take your hand off my penis!
The Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Stay cheesy. Alright, how's it going, my beautiful starflies, my loyal viewers, and seekers of justice and truth? Welcome to Useless Agent, your safe space from the MAGA morons, as well as the oversensitive left and the SJWs. I hope you guys like the new theme. I got a lot of complaints from, not complaints, but, copyright issues. And at first, the copyright issues were not slowing us down in any way. And we were able to do our job. We were able to continue the show the way we wanted to do it. And to me, there was no better song to pick for a intro. As a kid, I always thought a perfect intro should have a classic, a classic, rock and roll song that is American based, because it's an American show. It's not for just Americans, but it's an American show. And so when you have all that, when you have an American show that's built on America and you want to talk about the only thing you know, which is the country you're from, I really enjoyed Let the Bad Times Roll off of The Offspring's latest album, which is the same name. I highly recommend you check out that album. It's a really great album. But we were constantly getting hit by copyright issues, and I don't mind being kicked out of Russia or any bullshit country with policies that are just anti-human rights. So I don't mind being told that, a fucking fascist dictator doesn't like you or some oligarch doesn't like you. That's fine with me. The show's not meant for them. But when you tell me that you're going to mute certain scenes just because of the music being played, I know for a fact that if I were to pull, Dexter Holland right out of the TV, he would look at this and be like, dude, that's fucking ridiculous. Go ahead and use the song. So it wasn't slowing us down, but now it is. And we started off with our own theme song, but I just was never pumped by it. Excuse me. And when I do the show, I want to be able to convey in an energetic but non-overkill way. Basically, the exact opposite of Fox News or Ben Carson. So I don't want to trivialize things and make them sound less important with a basic monotone. I have a very not influential, but a very, I have not a bubbling personality, but I call it like it is. I'm brutally honest and I'm very outspoken. So I really don't give a shit. So, I hope you guys like the new theme song. I'll be making more so that way we don't have to worry the copyright. Thanks again to Primus, who's never given a shit for using their songs. We've never had a problem with Primus, only with people at Warner Brothers, people that don't like me using Green Day, people that don't like me using Blink and Offspring. And I guess it's kind of my fault for picking the mainstream bands, but it went with the feel that I wanted. So I wrote a song called It Feels Like, and it was kind of based off of a Bad Religion song saying sometimes it feels like. And he basically never says the word shit. And I always thought that was so cool that I kind of made my own version of it. And was not meant to be a ripoff, but an homage to it. That's why I put the lyrics in. So that is going to be It Feels Like, and our new theme song, which of course I heavily edited, but I also love to add in our favorite comedians. George Carlin has to be in there. Bill Hicks has to be in there. And so, yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. All right, so that's my 5 minutes. I want to just get that out of the way. So on to the actual topic, secret footage and the constant war on mental health. Now, what do I mean by that? All right, well, first let's start off with the sentences, prefix here, the predicates on secret footage. Now, what do we mean by secret footage? Well, there was 9 minutes that was actually cut out of the Meet the Press interview where it was just Trump talking over somebody for like 10 minutes. And it was another clown show. So, happy to show you guys this video because you're going to see this woman. I mean, God bless her for trying, I guess, but when you're with a former president and a sociopath, you are not going to get him to shut up. You're going to have to call him out and raise your voice and say, "No, Donald, it's a bad Donald. Sit back down. Let me finish what I'm saying." And so let's just watch how she just really fumbles this without confidence, and there's a lot of nervousness and fear in those eyes.
I'm looking to appoint an attorney general who's going to be tough on crime and fair. Very simple.
And go after
Well,
your
yeah?
enemies?
No, I would never do that. But Biden has done that. Look, Biden, these aren't indictments against me. These are Biden indictments. This isn't God coming down and very fairly said, "Oh, you spoke badly about an election." The election was rigged. There's no question about that. There's so much proof on it. Even if you go to the more modern day proof.
There's no proof of it. There's none. There's never been proof of it.
The Amazon stuff or the Google stuff, or you take a look at 2000.
And then he just keeps going with just made up names. I mean, just brands.
The legislatures didn't approve a lot of the things.
Google stuff. There's the Amazon stuff.
We could go on forever.
What stuff?
We could go on forever.
Is there a Bed Bath and Beyond stuff? I know they got a lot of
going
stuff.
to be strong, respected, tough, and fair.
Wow, so all of the qualities that he does not possess.
It's been debunked.
It hasn't
As
been
you
debunked.
know,
It's on camera.
But I do want to keep moving forward.
Yeah,
And
but
of
Kristen,
course,
it's on camera.
He's not going to let you say what you want to say. He's not going to let you.
You take a look. True the vote. Take a look. It's on camera.
but Mr. President,
They have
you know,
thousands
It's on camera.
I know, but Kristen, you can't say it.
Now listen how old and out of touch he is. He literally says motion pictures.
But you shouldn't say it. Because that's the problem.
But Mr.
The
President,
news
that's
has
the truth,
lost
and you've
such
been told that.
power.
Let's stay on track, though, Mr. President. Let's
But
stay
no,
on
but
track
your
with the
Nope.
sentence
question.
it hasn't. We have thousands of
He's never going to shut up.
essentially motion pictures of people
Motion
stuffing
pictures.
the ballot boxes.
But Mr.
Tens
President,
of thousands.
they're not stuffing the ballot boxes, and you've been told that by your top law enforcement officials. But let's stay on track because we have so much ground to cover.
You have
We
people that
policy
went
ground.
She needs to
voted
just
in one
jump
place,
in.
another
Don't
place,
let
another place,
him
as
say
many as I
anything.
understand, 28 different places in one one day with 7, 8, 9 ballots.
While you're debunking him, why don't you just move on while you debunk
professional
him?
people?
Say, well, that was never proven. And before he says anything, jump to the next question.
It's there to
Just
see.
keep
A
saying,
lot
"I
of people
answered."
don't like looking at
60
it.
different cases all across the
So
country.
remember, all of this was cut
We
out.
lost because the judges didn't want to hear them.
Mr. President,
But
we have
if
so
this
many
if
topics.
this were ever before a court, we would win so easy. There is so much evidence.
You're the one that chose. Oh my
And you
God.
may not even put the section on your show, and you'll have to decide what you want to do. But people know it was rigged. Look, the media,
Mr. President,
when I
there's
first
no
got
evidence
involved
of
in
that.
politics,
As you know, there's no evidence of that. We have so many.
She works for the media. She
I
should
want to
know.
talk about what a
listen, let me ask you this.
Mr.
You agree
President-
there was Twitter files, right?
Mr. President,
You agree
You're
there were
not
51
to ask the
intelligence
question. When
agents.
you're interviewing
lied.
somebody,
You
you
agree
never
with
let
that?
them
the ones
interview
being
you.
Let's
Well, no,
stay
but-
on track
I know,
because
but
I want to talk about
that's rigging the
policy,
election.
because that's what voters want to hear about.
It doesn't care what voters want
Let's
to
talk
hear.
about what's happening on Capitol Hill
Go ahead.
right now.
Go
Speaker
ahead.
McCarthy announced that he was launching.
Okay.
So, right there is just like complete bullshit. There was no. Sorry about that. All right. So, I mean, you have a situation like that where you knew damn well that you were never going to get a word in. He's a narcissist. He's not going to let you talk. And, you know, this woman's new at her job, so I understand. How's it going? Val BT, what was it? Valvez BTW. What's up, yo? Let me go ahead and highlight you. So, yeah, again, this is a sociopathic, rapist, racist communist that doesn't know the difference between Marxism, communism. So he just throws everything. He'll literally say Marxism, communism, and socialism, which could not be more different, but he will put them all in the same sentence because nobody has ever asked the guy, hey, bro, what the fuck does that even mean? He doesn't know. This is just like when he did the speech in a part of the Midwest, and Utah was worried about the pipeline, the CO2 pipeline that was going through. And if you watch how Trump handles it, this fat, bloated pumpkin man literally had nothing. He had no idea how to even approach a subject. So he did what any liar that has never read the book and has to do a book report, he just went on the damn title. And went, oh yeah, the pipeline, the CO2 pipeline. It's a pipeline with CO2. Like, he's just going to keep doing that shit. And then he just straight up just said, wow, what a ridiculous situation, isn't it, people? I would rose my hand and go, no, I don't really know the details. Why don't you fill me in? Because, you know, you're running for president, so you should care about, like, major American problems, right? But, again, that's not going to happen. And then this is the same guy that said he was draining the swamp, and he hired a bunch of career politicians, and then badmouthed everybody that he hired, which were the best people. But for some reason, in his tiny little brain, he probably does believe that all of these right-wingers that have been right-wingers for over 40 years were only doing it to trap him. Like, yeah, there was always a fucking prophecy that the big red orange man was going to become president. And the only prophecy I ever saw of that was The Simpsons. So let's try to remember the shit that this guy said. I mean, the fact that he's calling our military men losers and suckers and being embarrassed to show up to Arlington Cemetery. He was embarrassed by amputee veterans. He said, I don't want any amputee veterans because if they march with me, it's going to make me look bad. And it's just, I mean, he badgered and treated like shit a Gold Star family. You know, this guy has no respect for the actual system of law or the government or the military side of it. And I don't like the military side of it, but I'm always going to be on the side of my American friends whether they're American or not. But my friends are going off to fight those stupid ass wars because they believed in it. They believed that we were under attack. They fell hook, line, and sinker for Bush's little joke here, and then he got exactly what he wanted. And it's just, man, it's just sad. And that's considered draining the swamp. So let's go ahead and just listen to what John Kelly has confirmed Trump saying.
Kelly describes Trump as, quote, a person that thinks those who defend their country in uniform or are shot down or seriously wounded in combat or spend years being tortured as POWs are all, quote, suckers because, quote, there is nothing in it for them.
Trump's former chief of staff, John.
There's nothing in it for them. I mean, that speaks volumes to who he is. Yes, there is. There is a lot that they get out of it. They get a sense of duty. They have a sense of pride. They have a sense of actual pride because they have to do terrible things. And, when he says these people are suckers and all that shit, who the fuck do you think is going to defend you against anybody? All those suckers you're talking about have kept us, at least safe. The only time we've ever been attacked was by our own fucking government. So I'd like to say that our military is pretty goddamn strong. I don't think we should be adding any more money to our own military industrial complex. We're the number one dealer in illegal arms. Where if you go to any Mexican cartel who they hate so much but have no problem funding them their weapons, is a great way of under the table paying someone and then calling them an asshole and a crooked person behind their back. And you only know they're really crooked because your dumbass is crooked and you worked under him. So some of the very things this man said, I mean, this is a man right here, John Kelly, who lost his own child in war. And he tried to explain to Trump that these are our heroes, dude. Like these guys took America, put it in their heart, and they defended it on shit they didn't want to do, shit they didn't have to do, shit that they had no business doing. But they did it because their country asked it of them, and they felt they owed it to the country they love so much. There's no reason why Trump would understand or empathize or even identify with that kind of lifestyle. This is a man that's never taken responsibility for his own actions. He's never had to take responsibility for his actions. He has never faced a consequence in his entire life. So why would he be built with empathy or sympathy? He is a cultist and a sociopath. There's no other way around it. It is simply communistic bullshit.
The record straight with on-the-record confirmation of a number of damning details about Donald Trump from background sources, including from a 2020 Atlantic story reported with unnamed sources by editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, including the stunning detail that Trump turned to Kelly on Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery in 2017 and asked, I don't get it. What was in it for them? A person that did not want to be seen in the presence of military amputees because, quote, it doesn't look good for me.
And again, this is the same guy who treated Gold Star families like shit. But again, John Kelly lost his son in the war, so they're standing over his grave.
Right off the bat, share what I think about this story. All
right, so I love Anna. And now that I know she has a thing for Chris Pine, I'm going to do whatever I have to look like Chris Pine. Get the surgery and all that weird face-off kind of shit. But it's so fucking telling that he had never had respect for our men in uniform. He has no respect for the police that protect him. He has no respect for anybody but dictators, fascists, murderers, warmongers, and enemies of the state. Those are his guys. Those are the guys he loves. And for a guy that's constantly saying this ain't China, and for a party that says this ain't China, this ain't this ain't that, you sure as hell want it to be. And it's goddamn terrifying because you don't know what's next. And then the sad part is you have the military, and I've seen, military vets that were standing by Trump, and I'm like, dude, he's the reason why you had to wait all that time to get your fucking amputated, your metal leg, all the shit, like, for instance, my father, when he was in Vietnam, we never saw any of the promises that were made. He was rejected at the VA. He was rejected for military service payments. He was rejected for a lot of different shit that he could have easily applied for being a service member. But that was Vietnam. They didn't give a fuck who you were. They were trying to get rid of us. It's just another way of like, hey, let's start shit with fucking Vietnam, knowing we have no business in it, but we'll make up a reason called the Gulf of Tonkin. And then you have the Vietnam War, who this pussy actually ran from and had his daddy write him a note saying he had bone spurs. Years later, couldn't remember what bone and just said both of his feet had it, I think. I mean, the guy's a fucking idiot. But it's just another example of the psychosis and idiocy that goes around in our society, leading us into insanity, bringing us to the final point of mental fucking health. Now, just like my friends from the military, when they came back, they were not the same people. That wasn't my friend. That wasn't the guy that I knew. That wasn't the guy that, I rode in the car with and, let him get laid, let my friends get laid so I can drive. I would drive so they can get laid in private, kind of private. We were rockers. We were crazy. But my friend was lost, and I think that he just didn't know what he wanted out of life. And we have a system that tells us if you join the military, you will not only gain public respect, but private respect, and then you also will get the education and money and all this shit. None of that was worth the person that came back that's it, that next 5 years later. I was scared of him. I was scared to look at him in the eyes because I could tell that the soul that was once behind those beautiful blue eyes of his, it was gone. That spark was dead. That blue was gone. The blue looked like, I don't know if you ever seen a stagnant water source. Like, have you ever seen like a stagnant lake? He went from the oceans of the Caribbean, these beautiful turquoise colors, to just dead water. And it was terrifying. And to see a friend of mine turn himself into that, well, he didn't turn himself into it, but when he came back like that, and we all had to see him in his grave or at his wake, I knew this wasn't going to be the last time I had to do this. And no, I did. I would 4 times later. There's only so many friends you can lose, and then you're just like, I hate this place. I hate this war. I hate everything about it. But what we all keep doing is we keep saying that this war is past tense. All right? It's not. We're still stationed in the same spots. And worst of all, the Patriot Act is still in full effect. So if they want it, they can charge you with terrorism, which has no definite definition. There is no direct definition to it. So we don't really know what constitutes as a terrorist and what will constitute as a terrorist cell or corporation or company. And it was just a way to stoke fear against Americans, and it worked like a fucking charm. And it's done nothing but destroy our mental health. And so we have veterans, we have all these people with PTSD, shell shock, kind of fucked up people, and that can't get medical services. But when you listen to Trump specifically saying, I have no respect for these people, could you imagine someone saying that to you? I don't get it. What did they do it for? And there's your son right in front of you, dead. I would have fucking punched him so hard that fat fucking head of his would have somehow shoved him further back into that giant skull. Like, that would not fly with me. I mean, especially being ex-military. If you said that about my son, I don't care who you are. I'm going to jail for this. And then if we were to tell everyone what he did, I bet you they'd be asking for this dude to be president. They'd be like, fuck it, let's get John Kelly. At least he knocks some people the fuck out sometimes. All right. And so the mental health institution is a goddamn joke. And they used to and still to this day try to force religion as if it is some sort of benefit of our mental health. No, it's not. It's more anxiety. And same thing with the doctors. They provide more anxiety to those that have anxiety issues. Like me, for instance, I didn't get my normal refill. My doctor decided to give me 2 weeks instead of a full refill. Why did he do that? Because, I don't know, he's a sociopath. And I have a strange fear that's no longer feeling very strange anymore, where things are so rigged that, we know that our military is guarding poppy fields all around the Mideast to make sure the heroin trade stays simple and stays under our control. But we have pharmaceutical industries and doctors that are such slaves to the pharmaceutical industries. They provide us with drugs we know are not safe. And then when we're done or not done, they cut us off or they move away. And then that patient ends up a fucking drug addict on the street because you wouldn't do your fucking job. And so it's just a embarrassing fucking moment for all this shit. One of the things I just could not fucking believe out of that. And it's just really fucking sad. And so hopefully maybe one day we can get to some normalcy. But right now there are so many different things that need our fucking assistance, that really need help. And I do agree that Ukraine is definitely a problem we need to help. But I don't think that it's priority number one when it comes to the homeland. However, we should be providing assistance. Also, I would like to see just one day America give some fucking assistance to Palestine instead of letting them get kicked out of their homes. That would be fucking nice, but no. That's right. We have a secret deal with Israel. So everybody that has any economical power up in the system are all Israeli dual citizens, okay? Don't ever forget that. The only reason why we went into Iraq was because of Israel and because of the fucking oil. Everyone thought it was just the oil. It was not just the oil. They were a threat to Israel, not us. And at that time, when we were fighting with Iraq, which we had nothing to do with and had nothing to do with 9/11, which was funded by the ISI and the Israel fucking Mossad, and yet we go over to Iraq, which is like having a problem with Yemen and then running over to Mexico and beating people up. It makes no goddamn sense. And so it was all done for bullshit, and it's bad for you. It's all bullshit, and it's bad for you. All right? They set you up with meds that are too strong, too addictive. They cut you off and send your ass to the west side of Chicago. All right? And that's just fucked up the system. So since they fucked up the system with a systematic yearly basis of fucking increments of worse and worse problems, I say fuck the system. Love you guys. Stay safe. Stay free. Stay yourselves. I'll see you on the other side. Catch you guys hopefully tomorrow morning. And most of all, please stay informed. Keep doing your own researches on anything you want to learn. You have a fucking Google box. It'll do it with you and for you. So when you want to learn something, go learn it. Just make sure your sources make sense. All right? Love you guys again. And please do me one huge favor. Stay cheesy, my friends.
Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is democracy manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? He'll take your hand off my penis.
The Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid.